Yes.
You know what I miss?
What?
2,000
Glittering
atmospheres.
ashes. 2,000 atmospheres is actually not that bad for
Yeah,
Terran.
it was like, yeah, bring it back. God damn.
Okay, I'm down with it. As we do have here, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map, playing for Team GP. This is NightMare.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have his opponents, the American Zurich player. It is Silky.
Where's this drone going?
The drone.
There you going, little fella?
Yeah, he's slipping out. He's sneaking across the map, looking to, I imagine, proxy hatch.
Hatch
So,
block?
yeah.
Oh, proxy hatch.
A hatch block. It has to be a hatch block, right?
Is this like, if you're not going to let me take my natural, I'm going to take your natural?
Yeah, let's go. I know there was a period where me and Micah was doing this every single ZVP. He throws it down. How does it feel, NightMare? How does it feel?
Like a NightMare immediately going to be pulling out. Looks like 6 probes. Yep, so 6 is the perfect number. I think 5 stops it from progressing along the build, and 6 will make sure it's going down in health as well.
Oh yeah, exactly. As a 7th probe even joins the fray. Okay, just so he can throw down a building as well. Meanwhile, Silky is able to expand behind this. He did go for technically a hatch pool hatch opener. Should be canceling this. Up. Ooh, there we go.
Oh, last minute hatch actually gets the Evo down on the cancel as well. So quick moves coming out from Silky. Still slick, even though he may not have been practicing as much. And NightMare a little bit presumptuous with that probe pool as well.
Yeah.
Isn't wanting to go for a zealot here.
Exactly, and he's being punished for it, mate. I'm getting some game 1 versus Kelazur vibes where NightMare is a little bit stubborn here. The Evo chamber finishes, which means when it does get killed, we have our Broodlings just dive in, and oh my god, they get 2 probe kills.
Wow, this is so much damage for Silky. And like you were saying, NightMare, he didn't quite have the right response to the eBay. I don't feel in the first game against Kelazur, letting it get the whole way up and then just pulling the 1 zealot and 1 probe to deal with it instead of taking a 3rd or pulling more probes. It seems like he's doing a bit of a similar approach, having to pull 7 probes and then losing 2 of them. That is very rough.
Yeah, it really is. So a great start here from Silky. He hasn't really done too much with this earlier pool. He has a couple of lings. You know, he's got a queen just to be safe. Isn't going to be going for any kind of massive ling rush or anything like that, especially because he did delay his gas. So nothing too crazy as a follow-up. Just going to, again, drone up and rest on his, would you say Yenny? What?
Yeah, something like that. I'll look it up later.
Okay. It's gonna be one of those moments where you're like, no, yeah, it's Kevin Bacon in Greece, and then you're like, actually, it's not Laurel at all. It's like Lanny. Or
I'll look it up, and it's just like, yeah, exactly, yeah, 100%. That's
Greg.
Definitely what's gonna happen. It's Greg. As you see that 1 probe going down, so Silky just being very annoying with these things as well is gonna, in the process, get a scout of this Stargate too.
Oh, exactly. Stargate does get spotted, so a great scout overall here by Silky, as the wall was nowhere near being a wall. Everything has been delayed because of the opener, even a late everything, to be honest. And Silky, he has plenty of time to expand and take his 3rd base. Because he scouted the Stargate, he should be getting spores up in time.
Yeah, there we go. He knows exactly what's going on. Meanwhile, for NightMare, just using this adept to keep on scouting, making sure he's trying to keep an eye on the ling count here, on what the queens are up to, on how many drones are getting made as well. Even going to opt for a 2nd adept, so there's the potential for some drone damage here.
Oh yeah, definitely potential, as the adepts are going to be shading in towards the main base. The lings do respond with them, so NightMare has to be careful not to throw these away. Again, if these adepts do go down, it is going to make it even more difficult for NightMare to expand and take a 3rd, if he wants to.
Yeah, there we go. I think he heard you, so he is going to be getting on out of there. Takes out a few of those lings on the way out as well, just as that ling speed starts to finish up. But it looks like NightMare going to be opting for a Void Ray behind the Oracle. Very interesting.
Yeah, very safe play coming out from NightMare. This will mean that he will be able to hold on to his 3rd, regardless of any kind of ling harassment. As I say that, 6 more lings are on the way, so Silky wants to be aggressive here, just as NightMare throws down his 3rd.
Yeah, there we go. Just going to put it on a little bit of damage on that third. Doesn't want to waste too much of his attention there as well, as the Oracle just dips on in. Good queen positioning from Silky, spreading them between the bases very nicely, getting a lot of damage on those Oracles.
Yeah, exactly. As Oracle is now out of energy, won't be able to make use of his Pulsar Beam to defend, but we do have that Void Ray instead. Silky doesn't have too many Lings though. It looks like he just wants to be safe against any kind of Adepts, and he's just going to drone up from here, even getting a safety Roach Warren.
Yeah, this Void Ray going to be taking out that Overlord. Zoom in nice and close, light. Listen to that noise. Don't you miss it?
No.
Can you hear your layer going down?
Oh my god, I'm getting flashbacks to my ladder games yesterday. But yeah, only a single Void Ray again, just to be safe, just to clear out Overlords and hold on to the third base. So NightMare isn't really looking to commit, as we see his tech of choice, we see his upgrade of choice on the Twilight Council.
Yeah, NightMare going to be taking very heavily behind this. He's getting that fast robo, he's getting charge as well as a Templar Archive, so looks like he's gearing up to go for a little bit of a Zealot Archon timing off the back of this.
Oh yeah, and this can be quite powerful. I mean, thankfully Silky does have his Roach Warren as well as +1 on the way, so he does have the tools he needs to tech into Roach Ravager Ling to help defend, but he needs something to really give a tell to recognize when he should stop droning and how aggressive his opponent is about to be.
Yeah, looks like he is going to be sending out a Link Scout to try to get eyes on that, but doesn't really see anything in the third here. There is a huge gateway explosion in the main of NightMare, but there are no Overlords anywhere near this for Silky just because of that Void Ray. So this is a very well-planned build coming out from NightMare, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And as we say that, the Prism is coming out across the map. We have 3 pylons about to finish up. The Lings, just barely missed because of the tall grass, because of the side blockers. We do have Lings on the way, but not too many Roaches or any Ravagers.
Yeah, these things are, though, going to spot out the lack of a fourth. We see another one headed over to this watchtower over here, and he's going to know with the lack of a fourth at this time, it's not really going to be this Blink Stalker-based hero style, and he can start to make a lot more units, and yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. He has stopped droning.
Yeah, there we go. Roaches are on the way, but the charge dots are here, but there aren't that many of them. The Lings are going to push around to the Archons.
Yeah, great surround on the Archons, and that War Prism was so far behind. That War Prism really needed to be there to pick up those Archons.
Yeah, only one Archon was saved in the end, so NightMare slipping up in the execution of his build here, kind of falling on its face. Losing that Archon was huge.
Man, it's a red health Archon. You don't get to see that too often.
Oh my god. Yeah, not often that. It almost looks like a Dark Archon in the Prism, actually.
Yeah.
As Silky is going for a massive counterattack, he is a little bit supply blocked, but this fourth base is so exposed, it is going to be forced to be cancelled.
Yeah, very nice amount of Roaches and Lings coming out here from Silky. This is very decisive player.
Yeah, it really is. Decent juggling here on the Archons. I say that, but the red Archon goes down. The Roaches getting on top of this as well. Charge also dishing out a lot of DPS. Here comes that Void Ray, but nothing but Lings and Roaches are being flooded across the map.
Yeah, there we go. Silky committing very hard to taking out this fourth, and down it goes. The Void Ray and the Oracle are going to be able to eventually clear this out, but looking back at the units of NightMare, there's almost more Changelings than there are units of NightMare.
Yeah, especially because that was a kill, by the way. No to cancel on that fourth, so more resources down the drain. He is trying to tech on up. We see 1-1 on the horizon. We see a Robotics Bay already completed as well. There is that first disruptor. But Silky has so much freedom right now. He has so much map control. He's taking a fourth base. He can go for another wave, but instead right now he's opting to tech up and work on his upgrades.
Yeah, we see Silky just dipping his toes into droning there, but going to stop at that ripe old count of 72. Doesn't really want to get too crazy considering that he's put NightMare onto a 3-base economy. Doesn't really make sense to kind of push up into matching a 4-base economy, and he's just going to be pumping units out here and going for that second wave.
Yeah, exactly. As here we go, his Ling's going to be able to catch some of these reinforcing Zealots. The Roach Ravager diving on top. Oh my god, the Disruptor! No, he got surrounded!
Oh, very nice around with the Lings. Silky has been really great with pickoffs with those Lings surrounds, as it does look like a little bit of chaos being dealt back at home. NightMare going to be dropping Zealots, and Silky doesn't want to be distracted on the front while dealing with that. Just going to pull everything back.
Yeah, everything does come back home. Only 3 drones are going down. Nice reaction time by Silky, able to save the majority of his mineral line. The Prism, I believe, did the Prism go down?
Yeah, the Prism going down to the Queens over at the natural there, and that Spore very nicely placed there as well. So that does mean that Silky doesn't have to worry about counterattacks anymore.
Yeah, exactly. He was able to shut down that aggression, and now NightMare is on the back foot. He does have his fourth up and running, but does he have enough to defend? He has a second, a third shield battery, sorry, a second shield battery and a cannon on the way.
Yeah, so he is going to be able to try to set up over here. These Disruptors are very well poised to try to take a big shot on the Roaches, but good split coming out from Silky.
Yeah, very good splits. At the same time, Bailey run by at the third base. 17 probes go down. NightMare a little bit distracted here by the main push. Does survive, does keep his fourth alive, but not so much can be said about the third.
Yeah, what cost is going to be losing every probe at that third, and NightMare in a really rough spot now. I like this, just sending out a bit of a charge lot run by just to buy himself a little bit of time, but there was a Link spotter there to catch that.
There really was, and now NightMare is forced to bring everything back home. He does have 3 Disruptors, and again, we all know that Purification Novas can really make or break these engagements. Oh my god, and Bailey rolls on in, getting 4 more probes. That one Void Ray able to reign supreme. Not too much anti-air available for Silky as he is committed to Ling Bane Roach Ravager. And he's actually going into Ultras.
Yes, +2 Banes, of course, able to one-shot the probe, so a lot of damage going down there. Does catch the little charge offshoot there and setting up a multi-prong attack here as well. This is going to be very hard to deal with for NightMare because he is really struggling for money, really struggling for units right now.
He really is. He has split up his army quite well. He has plenty of practice, especially after playing against Kellizer. But oh my god, the Biles do connect with the Void Ray. It barely does survive. Stasis Trap goes off, catching a lot of the army here of Silky. But oh my god, these Disruptors are still looking quite exposed. I say that, but the Novas, the connections are real.
Huge connections, 3 Novas taking out every single Roach and Ravager over there. We see another Warp in here. It's going to be able to clean up what's left of this Stasis Trap, but at the same time, the Ling's wreaking havoc at the fourth.
Yeah, exactly. Lings are almost in every single mineral line right now. 15 more probes go down. Even though NightMare had great connections on those Roaches, his economy is just in shambles. He has saved a lot of his probes, don't get us wrong, but a lot lost mine time.
Yeah, for sure. And behind this, Silky's been able to get up into that hive. Adrenal Glands pretty close to finishing. It's going to be a huge boon to these Lings. They are going to be able to spread through these buildings. As we do see that Void Ray almost going down, is going to go down.
Finally, the Void Ray goes down after so long. Ultras are on the horizon. The first 2 Ultras are finally being made. Are they the right unit right now? You know, they're okay. There's a reason why we don't see too many of them, and I mean, we already have a Spire behind this to get into Brood Lords to tech up even further into a greater Spire. And yeah, we'll see if these Ultras are able to really make the difference in this next fight.
Yeah, there we go. We do have quite a few Archons here for NightMare, but where is his army? Just kind of sat out in the middle of the map here, trying to catch a move out. Silky's army is huge.
It's massive right now. He is getting close to maxed. With mainly Lings, he's actually making 26 more Lings and even more Banelings, so he just wants to try and roll over the Protoss opponent. At the same time, we do have a Prism sneaking into the main base of Silky, so he has to be a little bit careful here. He won't have a lot to defend. Oh, but the Queens are in position!
Yeah, the Queen's taking out that Prism to the north. They are going to be able to deal very effectively with this drop here. Looks like Silky once again pulling back home, so I have to think maybe this is a little bit being out of practice, that he's got to bring everything back home, so the mechanics aren't quite as sharp as they normally would be, but it doesn't really matter. He's just got so much control over this game.
He really does, and I mean, NightMare is trying to transition to Skytoss, which I do think is the right move, but it does also feel a little bit late right now, and I don't know if he can really survive long enough to really get there. We shall see. That is going to be kind of a win condition for him if he does make it that long. Meanwhile, we do see Silky finally pulling the trigger.
Yeah, he is just trying to find these Archons apart from their shield batteries here, but I do like his patience here as well. Doesn't really feel the need to necessarily break NightMare immediately on 4 bases. They are going to mine out eventually.
Yeah, they are going to mine out, and it's not like Silky isn't doing anything with his time. He's got a Greater Spire on the way. He's got +3. He's got even a Pneumatized Carapace on the way as well, because why the hell not just get every single upgrade imaginable, so we can rebuild with a better army if we need to.
Yeah, I mean, behind this, even going into Infest, has got the pathogen glands and neural parasites, so can start to think about, controlling some of these disruptors for himself. And we do have a NightMare trying to clear out the way to get a 5th here, but I think he's extending towards the 5th is going to be the signal for Silky to go.
Yeah, exactly. I'm worried that Silky is giving NightMare too much time to remax, but at the same time, there we go. Broodlords are on the horizon, Infestors as well. He's getting into Broodlord Infestor, the famed composition of choice. So yeah, like it's not like Silky isn't doing anything with this time, as NightMare is going to be expanding and taking this 5th.
Yeah, there we go. That 5th is going to be trying to go on down. We do see the first few carriers being started up as well, plus 2 air weapons on the way. So getting rather cleanly into his transition here.
Yeah, exactly. And I also hope that the thing that I'm worried about right now is that I feel like Silky does have to refine his army a little bit more. He has to get rid of some of this Lingbane Road Ravager. As I say that, he does commit to an engagement on the right-hand side, does break the defenses, and forces every single probe off the Mineral Lion.
Beautiful. Even borrowing some Lings here, that's going to be very annoying for NightMare if he didn't see that.
Yeah, exactly. So at any moment he can go in once again. Meanwhile, here come those Ultras. Oh, they're going to run into the Disruptors and the Immortals, though, so they're not going to find too much success here. They're going to be forced back, but honestly, it wouldn't be the worst thing if he does end up losing these Ultras. They are a lot of supply.
Yeah, definitely got to be careful. Immortals shred Ultras, but as you were saying, if he can free up some supply, he can start to get into more of these sort of Broodlord-based armies, things like that. We do see him unbarring those Lings over at the 3rd there, and those Adrenal Lings getting so much damage so quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, oh my god, the Novas go off. They do connect with the Infestors, and the Ultras are going to be going down as well. The carriers have finally arrived, but more Broodlords are coming in from the south.
Yeah, huge Novas, but the carriers are getting on top of the Broodlords here.
They really are. Queens are here to defend. They have a little bit of energy left for Transfuse. We need more of these Corruptors. Again, finally, Silky, because of his bank, he can afford to throw away some of this supply. He can rebuild, but NightMare, now he's got a 5th. And he also kills the bottom right-hand base.
Yeah, kills the bottom right-hand base with that Zealot run by, getting into a nice carrier count here as well. Once you get towards those 6 carriers, it starts to get very threatening, and we do see those extra carriers starting to come on out.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried here for Silky, especially because he's been losing his spellcasters. A lot of the Infestors went down, and every single Infestor actually went down in that previous fight. But the Mass League run by, oh my god, the 3rd base just gets deleted.
Yeah, these things are doing a lot of damage here. Adrenal Lings, they do not care about shield batteries. They do not care about cannons. They are massacring these probes.
Oh my god, they really are. But that carrier count is getting pretty scary. We now have 5. We're about to have 8 carriers. Jesus Christ. And Broodlord Corruptor is good. We need some spellcasters here. We have a couple of Infestors on the way. Some Vipers would be ideal as well. Yeah, we'll see what kind of army Silky ends up with.
Ooh. Yeah, Silky going full air here. That is a lot of Broodlords and Corruptors. Looks like he was able to build up quite the bank while all of this was going down, and he's decided what army he wants.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see how he can utilize this army. Honestly, I do think that he can outposition and he can go toe-to-toe with the carriers of NightMare, but a lot of it is also going to come down to his Infestors. Looking at his upgrades, he does have Neural available to him if he so chooses. He has the ability to Fungal as well. Hopefully this time he can actually make use of them, because in the last fight he lost his Infestors before he could do anything.
Yeah, there we go. We are seeing the first few spores going on down for Silky as NightMare starting to probe around with these carriers, and they are getting into a serious count. We have 7 carriers out here. We're going to need Vipers to deal with that. We're going to need Ultras or some kind of splash on the ground to help deal with the ground portion of NightMare's army, and this is starting to get a little bit worrying.
It really is. We do have 1 Viper for Silky. I worry that that's not enough, but we'll see. Here we go. Silky is pushing out into his creep. He does have his Infestors. They're looking a little bit idle here. The Novas are going off in the Infestors. They go down.
Yeah, these Infestors really not in the best spot there. Quite exposed to them. Does look like they are going to get to be picked off by those Disruptors. NightMare also gets eyes on the Broodlords before he overcommits.
Yeah, exactly. This is pretty important. This will be the tell for NightMare to start transitioning into Tempest to stop carrier production. He's actually going into Storm and High Templar, which again isn't too bad either. High Templar are a great way to shut down the spellcasters to feed back either the Infestors or those Vipers.
Yeah, there we go. We see a small little run by of Lings and the Ultra over here. But NightMare splitting up his army quite effectively to deal with this. Maybe overextending a little bit. This army is looking a little exposed if Silky can jump on top of it, as he does have all of his carriers up to the top left-hand corner here.
Yeah, it looks like the Ling Ultra is going to be able to shut down these Zealots, or are they? The Zealots go down, but the Archon's going to be able to get away just in time as well. Ooh, as we're actually even lacking some upgrades. Silky, hold on, I didn't realize this. He only has one Spire, the one Greater Spire, so he actually can't start 1-1 immediately. He's slowly working on these upgrades, and it's gonna be a while before he can really have any kind of significant advantage with his air.
Yeah, no flyer carapace on the air against carriers is not great.
Oh my god, but speaking of not being great, on the right-hand side, every single Archon gets neural here, so Silky is actually going to be able to take a decent trade, but as I say that, we have an overcharge, we have more Immortals, and Silky is forced back.
Yeah, overcharge is good. These Zealots are all going to be going down. We are going to be seeing one of these Archons going down as well, but these Ultras going to have to get on out of there. Oh, unfortunately, one of those going back on in there is going to be taken down.
Yes, it is. Meanwhile, we don't have a spore forest. We have 3 spores. We have a couple of spores here to help anchor this army. We're lacking a little bit here, but Silky is feeling a little bit adventurous. He moves forward with his Broodlords. We're gonna try and pick off any kind of stray units.
Yeah, we have the Japanese Garden Spore arrangement over here by Silky. And the Corruptors and the one Viper just going to be trying to zone out the units here, but definitely a little sparse there. And we do see High Templars for Storm being mixed in, and that's a bit of a worry because I'm not sure where Silky's Ultras are or whether he's rebuilt the ones that he lost.
He's got 2 on the way. He's got 1 left on the right-hand side. Doesn't have too many of them, to be honest. I do appreciate that he's getting a second Spire for the double upgrade production here, but it's going to take a while to really get into that. And, ooh, NightMare is moving out with his Immortal army. I'm feeling pretty... Oh, my God, he catches the Infestors!
Oh. Yeah, the Infestor's exposed once again. Silky going for a bit of a sneaky move. He's going to fully commit to the fight in order to try to save this, but he's going to be losing everything. That Ultra gets shredded by the 5 Immortals.
Man, we've seen 9 Infestors go down this game, and we've only seen 3 Neurals as well, I'll be honest. These Infestors, we've not been taking care of our boys. They have been going down. The Immortal army is going to be able to take down at this base, but ooh, the Ling reinforcements are going to be able to get a full surround.
Yeah, Ling's kind of dribbling in there, but still getting a lot of damage down on these Immortals. These Immortals all going to go down. Not really enough support for them, and that's a pretty rough loss for NightMare here. They're not going to be able to help on the front here, stopping those Ultras from going on the High Templars.
Oh, meanwhile, here comes the main engagement. Ooh. 2 Broodlords get focused down. We did have 1 Yoink on one of those Tempests. There's another Yoink for another carrier.
Yeah, there we go. He's found himself in a really nice position here where the High Templars can't quite get under for those storms.
Yeah, exactly. And those 3 spores actually put in a lot of work as well on those interceptors. At the same time, the Ling Ultra run by is real here once again at the 3rd, and he's going to be able to clean this up.
Yeah, there we go. A lot of damage going down with these Ultras. We do see the Tempest upgrade on the way. We see Void Rays as well. So it looks like NightMare going to be fully committing into this air toss.
Yeah, he is, and that Silky, I mean, he did have a decent couple of moments here. I do worry that, again, he is lacking in those Vipers. We saw how useful they were in that previous engagement, but we are lacking them here as they were not rebuilt. We still are only working with 1. Yeah,
exactly. Just the 1 Viper there for the Parabomb or for the Yoinks he has been using them for. He's going to have to give up this bottom right-hand base here, and NightMare's army, he is just slowly refining it, just making it better and better until it's just going to be a few Archons, Disruptors, and some High Templars here. Does have that Oracle still alive there as well for the Revelation.
Yeah, and here we go. He kills the base and goes for the recall. We'll leave 1 Archon behind. Feels a little bit bad, man. And oh, he recalls towards the top left just in time to deal with this run by it.
Yeah, nicely done there. I wonder if NightMare's going to be looking to go for a mothership as well. There is a potential now that the bases are so spread out left to right that he could start to look for that offensive mass recall.
Honestly, we almost have the perfect army for Protoss. I do think that these Disruptors, their time and their place has kind of come and gone this game. We are lacking some supply to make that mothership, to maybe get a couple more Void Rays, make more Archons as well. We only have 3, and those 3 Archons are really the only thing stopping the Corruptors from just diving on top of the carriers.
Yes, there we go. These Tempests going to start to pick away at the Corruptors, but one of them just strays a little bit too far away.
Yeah, one Tempest does go down. We do have a couple of Broodlings diving on top of the army as well. Another Oracle gets picked off for the lack of Revelation. Again, really good pickoff so far from Silky, as NightMare loses quite a bit as he rotates over towards the right-hand side.
Yeah, there we go. Just a Void Ray upgrade on the way as well, so just trying to get into a little bit of a Void Ray count to try to help deal with those Corruptors.
Yeah, they really will help be that buffer that NightMare needs to keep his high-tech Skytop students alive. A couple more of these Corruptors get picked off. They do get shaved off here as Silky does get caught out rotating over.
Yeah, we just see the Broodlords just committing a few Broodlings over there. Are going to be able to take out one of those High Templars. Nice focus fire there coming out. And we do have a fungal on these carriers. Looks like both players on the verge of committing to this fight, but nice storm once again.
That was a brutal storm. There was no, he couldn't capitalize on that bungle. Meanwhile, at the same time, Ling Ultra Rumbai is going to be able to catch NightMare out of position and just take down, delete the top left-hand base.
Yeah, great run by there. A lot of those probes going down there as well. Even borrows a few Lings just to make sure that that can't be retaken, but we can see both of these players kind of skirting around the idea of going for a big army on army fight. Both of them not really want to commit and throw away this game. It's a stressful situation.
But that Japanese Zen Garden of Spores does get cleaned up, and we're not going to have that support for this next big engagement. A couple of fungals are going down, does connect with an Archon. Nothing amazing yet, as the Broodlords do come on over as well to help support Silky's army.
Yeah, there we go. But coming into a pretty huge Corruptor count here as well for Silky, so it is starting to feel like he's getting onto the army that he wants. He has that +1 air defense on the way, has a +3 attack as well, and I think once those finish up, he might be ready to start to look to take a fight. Yeah. A lot of defensive resources over here at this base as well.
Yeah, definitely. As we see another bit of a Ling run by here, just causing a little bit of chaos in the bases of NightMare, just buying Silky a little bit more time to finish up his upgrades. I'm sure he wants to wait until they finish before he really tries to dive in with his Corruptors. These Lings, once again, just going uncontested. Shield batteries are doing what they can, but probes are still falling.
Yeah, interestingly as well, these Lings are actually going to scat out the mothership. They do see a Chrono going down on this Nexus while it's producing. I guess it could be probes as well, but if he's got these Lings still in position when it pops, looks like that just cleaned up.
Yeah, they do just get cleaned up by that Revelation. Void Rays are here on the right-hand side, but they're going to be running into these Infestors. There is that Fungal. There are those Corruptors. Recall to try and save what they can, but 3 Void Rays go down immediately.
Yeah, nice catch there for Silky. Meanwhile, we were talking about it before, NightMare, he's got that mothership. Is he going to be keeping it with the army, or is he going to be sending it around the back of the main to look for an offensive recall?
Yeah, I mean, he cannot take a head-on engagement. Like, NightMare, he's nowhere near even maxed right now. Like he's been really struggling to max out, build a robust army without losing too much. You know, he just lost all those Void Rays. He lost a couple of Tempests earlier. Ling Rambai is going to deny the top left, and NightMare is down to 1 base mining. Less than 1 base mining.
Yeah, Silky has been so methodical and has just slowly crept himself into a winning position here.
Yeah, NightMare, he's just starved out at this point. He is running out of resources, and he doesn't even have enough resources to get to 200 to 1 supply. NightMare just needs to buy time. Right now, he's in position to just cut off this top left-hand corner of the map and maybe take all of these bases. But Silky is not going to give him an easy time doing so. He's going to keep going for these run-bys, keep forcing NightMare out of position.
Yeah, there we go. Silky just dancing back and forth. These Broodlords are starting to commit. The Corruptors sharking around, trying to see if they can pick off any of these carriers here. We do have these couple Oracles. We do have the Mothership trying to split off here as well. So does look like NightMare might be trying to commit the forces over to the right and jump into the left, but no, just keeping it safe from any yoinks.
Yeah, meanwhile, it looks like he is being pulled over to the right-hand side because of this thing run by. Ooh, even getting a slap on the Fleet Beacon. Not an insane pickoff, but it is going to stop any kind of additional Skytoss units like Carriage or Tempest from being produced.
Yeah, not bad at all. For Silky here, he's gotten himself into a lead so well here, so he just wants to do anything he can to start pushing NightMare further and further into an all-in position to force a fight and to make sure that fight will be the last fight.
Yeah, exactly. Again, he's forcing NightMare's hand, and his army is slowly just being whittled away at. Like every now and then, 1 or 2 units gets picked off, and NightMare just cannot rebuild. He's struggling to rebuild. A couple more zoning novas going to be going off at a certain point, especially with 36 corruptors. Silky, he's going to recognize that he can just go in and just target fire everything down, and that may just be what he's about to do.
Yeah, one of these bruisers already taken out the High Templar, but it looks like the fight will be committed to this storm. Going to go down on a lot of the bruisers, a lot of the interceptors as well. The corruptors are starting to focus fire down at the Void Rays as the overcharge is committed.
Overcharge is committed there on those Void Rays, but every single carrier is going to be targeted down. There are just too many corruptors with that +3 attack, and down goes the army for NightMare. It was a long one. It went for 30 minutes. NightMare was trying to claw his way back in this game, but he just couldn't do it.
Yeah, there come the Archons a little bit late to the party, and just like that, Silky gonna get a hard-fought victory.
GG. Oh my god. I was getting a little bit worried there for a moment when NightMare actually got his 5th base, when he got his 5th base up and running. But yeah, as you were saying, Silky was just doing a great job at just constantly going for these harassing forces, right? With his Lings, with his Ultras, even sometimes with a couple of Banelings, or with his Baneling One-Bys as well. Yeah, it was a slow death by 1,000 cuts for 30 minutes.
Yeah, and it was. NightMare really made him work for that one.
Yeah, exactly. But like, who really came out worse for wear after that game though? Because NightMare, he was fighting his heart out, but at the same time, I don't think he ever maxed out that entire game. Like he was never able to get to that point where he had that like perfect death ball. He got close, don't get us wrong, he got close, but was never able to achieve that in the end. Ugh.
Me, like, I came out worse for wear from that game.
Oh my god, you loved it, puppy. What do you mean? You're playing Protoss now, right?
I don't know.
You're like, not after that game, buddy. No.
I thought the carriers were meant to be a free win.
Yeah. Didn't you see Silky win? I mean...
As we do have another big defensive map coming on out. We're going to be playing on Cosmic Sapphire for the second game.
Are you ready to do it again?
No. I'm not. I'm pulling the red cord. Get me out of this one.
I know.
Get me out of this.
I'm not letting you go, Papi. I'm never letting you go again.
Oh, man. Kill him. Kill this guy. Kill this dude.
You're staying here forever, Papi.
Well, someone who doesn't want to be staying here in this competition, doesn't want to be going out to the knockout bracket just yet. In the top left-hand corner of the map, this is in the red for Team GP, NightMare.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have the American Zerg player representing himself. And currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 series, it is Silky.
Does look like Silky not, well, I was going to say not sending out that early drone to hatch block, but where are we going here? No, just trying to get that down. So no pro block coming out from NightMare, just going to be going for a gate scout, something a little bit less common these days, but you know, sometimes you're just feeling a little bit charitable. You're like, you can have your natural, I'll get it later.
It's, you know, NightMare was put in his place in game number 1 when he wasn't allowed to expand, if you remember. So, you know, he's been humbled a little bit. He's been,
He had his Sesame Street lesson where he's like, oh, it doesn't really feel that good when it happens to me. Is that how it feels when it happens to you? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I'm a changed man.
Asher, when are you going to feel that way about PvZ? When are you going to stop bullying Zerg players, mate? Oh my god.
What do you mean?
We just want to make lunkers, Papi. We just want to make lunkers and get maxed out, get to 5 bases. That's all we want, Papi. That's all we want.
I'll kill the lurkers too. It's fine.
Oh god. So yeah, we'll see kind of how this all plays out. Again, kind of as a refresher, it happened 30 minutes ago, more than 30 minutes ago at this point. But if you remember, NightMare had a really rough game number one, like out the gate, you know, like everything was being delayed. He wasn't really dealing too much damage with his oracles either, and we saw Silky just doing a great job off of Ling Roach Ravager to just deny the fourth time and time again. I believe the fourth was killed twice. It was insane.
Yeah, crazy. As we do see something a little bit different coming out from NightMare here. He's going to be going for the fast Twilight, so maybe heard my calls for a quicker game. Not going to be going into the Stargate this time around.
Yeah, that's the thing about NightMare. You know, he's not a very standard player, period. He was kind of forced into that position last game just because, I mean, if you remember, he wanted to go for a charged Archon timing, a really off-meta timing at that, to be honest. Really off-beat. But he was kind of forced to go into Skytoss and try and turtle up just because it's Data C and because he was in a really rough position. But here, he even goes for a fast Robo off of that Twilight Council. Mate, are you feeling DTs?
Yeah, there we go. Very fast Robo. So yeah, could be DTs, could be some kind of adept timing as well. It does have options here. The Stalker here as well is going to be helped sway that. But yeah, it is going to be an adept timing.
Yeah, there we go. Glaive Adepts does start up here for NightMare. This will be scattered by Silky as he dips on in and does confirm the research on that Twilight Council. But how many gates are we really going to commit to? That is the question. Are we going to see 3? Are we going to see 4? 6, even 8.
Yeah, it's kind of it's this classic Korean skill check build, the Adept, Glaive Adepts. It's a good way for a Protoss to kind of use their multitask, to use their micro to try get an advantage in the matchup, to try to overwhelm the Zerg players. Yeah, we do just see 3 gates being committed so far, so NightMare keeping his options open here.
Yeah, only 3 gates. Bearing in mind that Silky does throw down a defensive Roach Warren as well, so he will have access to Roaches in time for the Adepts when they move out across the map, so he won't be caught with his pants down. Meanwhile, off of these 3 gates, I imagine NightMare should be going into a faster or into a third base, or maybe looking to transition into a bay from here as well. There, as I say that, there it is.
6 gates and a mortal. Let's go. No, it looks like instead going to be going into that robotics bay. We do see these Lings skirting around, trying to find a third base. Won't see anything of the kind. So Silky knows right now he needs to make some units.
Yeah, exactly. We do see 12 Lings on the way. We have a couple of Roaches as well, a couple of Ravagers being morphed in. Unfortunately, Silky isn't set up to wall off his naturals, so there's no way for him to wall off and try and deny any kind of glaives, or sorry, any kind of shades from dipping on forward, as he's going to try and keep up with said shades.
Yeah, at the same time, we do see pretty light commitment coming out from NightMare. Isn't going to go too far past this initial warp in. We do see the Queens of Silky very nicely placed to start zoning out the units, but NightMare going to be jumping on top of them.
Yeah, this is where I kind of worry a little bit that Silky cut drones too early, especially because it's only 3 gate, right?
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't see that he cut at 35. That's definitely too few drones.
Yeah. Now he has to do something with his army. He's going for a counterattack. The third base isn't there yet, but there are a lot of Glaive Adepts, and oh yeah, he doesn't really. Oh yeah, he's gonna try and dive on top of it.
Yeah, there we go. Really nice defensive. I was gonna say really nice defensive shade by NightMare, but doesn't actually pull them all the way back. They are gonna be shredding through these Lings though. One blink and the Lings have disappeared, and here comes that first disruptor shot. Is going to be taking out 1 Roach, nothing more for Silky, but with only the 3 Ravagers here, he has to be a little bit careful. The Adepts really don't trade that badly with Ravagers either.
Yeah, they really don't. They do love to get on top of them when the opportunity is available for them. Meanwhile, we do see Silky now droning up, but this is very late. He committed to so many Lings, and he hasn't really been able to do anything with them.
Yeah, this is wild, but from NightMare, just finishes those 2 disruptors off, chucks them in the prism, sends them straight across the map.
Yeah. 3 gate Glaive Adept into disruptor job. This is an Asher build, if I've ever seen one. This not something that you do, but something that maybe could pique your interest. As here we go, the disruptors are here. Nova's going to be going off, and oh my god, they do connect with the Lings.
Yeah, nice connections there from NightMare. Just catches him not quite looking there, and looks like, yeah, Silky still hasn't really been able to fully drone this third base. So, I mean, he has 60 workers. Looks like they're just popping now.
Yeah, they're just coming out as we speak. Meanwhile, the Lings, they almost catch a Disruptor on its own, do force a zoning Nova out as a couple of these transferring probes get caught. So Silky is doing a decent job at catching back up economically, but I worry because NightMare is pushing out and he's got 3 Disruptors.
Yeah, NightMare's got a pretty rough push coming along here to deal with. Does have the extra sentries as well, so we'll be able to start to zone out some of these Lings, especially if they try to jump on the back of this army, which is exactly what they're trying to do, but I think that's just a little bit too much here for NightMare to allow that to happen.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's enough for Silky to defend. He's going to try and go for a massive surround here on the Disruptors, but oh, he may be coming in a little bit too soon. There we go, he does pull the trigger.
Yeah, nice force fields going down, nice disruptions going down as well. Very good dodges coming out from Silky, but there's just not enough Lings here. We can see the damage that was done from cutting the drones so early in the early game means that you can't have drones and army at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Just didn't have enough supply to work with, and NightMare is not going to overcommit. He just backs off. He just makes sure that the third base is safe and secure. Silky is going to try and lick his wounds, recoup his losses, drone up even further, and get this fourth.
I mean, importantly here for NightMare as well, he keeps those disruptors intact. Does have this prism here, has the 4 disruptors ready to go, continuing to warp in stalkers, and I think he should be ready to go out for a second wave here.
Yeah, as you say that, he is moving out. At the same time, we have a bit of a Ling run by being set up, but we have a shield battery, we have at depths on hold position, we have stalkers as well. Yeah, the Lings don't find any damage whatsoever, and NightMare is not slowed down.
Yeah, there we go. Just clears out that watchtower. The creep hasn't really been able to get out too far for Silky. He's starting to establish a 4th down to the bottom left-hand corner here. Also setting up to snipe a 4th over here of NightMare, but NightMare taking the 4th to the north now.
Yeah, unfortunately, Silky not in position to deny that at the moment. Colossi are coming out as well, so the Lings aren't going to be anywhere near as useful. Second Robo on the way as well for double Colossus production. Yeah, I mean, Silky doesn't have a bad army, don't get us wrong, but unfortunately, he just doesn't have the economy to sustain himself to be able to build enough here to defend against this push if NightMare moves out soon.
Yeah, it's hard to see just how Silky's going to get himself ahead in this game. Moves like this, cutting off, trying to take out some probes, trying to cancel bases, are one of the ways that he can get himself back in, but I'm just worried that he just doesn't have the supply to make anything happen right now.
Yeah, and as we say that, NightMare is not going to take this lying down. He goes for more Disruptor Harass. Oh my god, the Novas, they go off and they get 8 drones.
Yeah, huge Novas going off once again, and Silky, he's just put in such a rough position here. He's got all his Lings and Ravagers all together. Looks like he's gearing up to go for a little bit of a fight. Now, they're going to have to be careful not to get caught out on the map, especially wasting his force fields like that. His Disruptors have been caught away from his army, but he's starting to get into these Colossus as well. So, yeah, these Colossus, these sentries, going up against a mass Ling army, they are going to make short work of that.
Yeah, and I don't really know how I feel about what Silky's doing right now. He's taking up in like every direction. He's got a Hive on the way, he's got a Spire, and he's got a Hydra Den, which isn't bad, but like his drone count isn't high enough where I feel like he can be affording to kind of utilize his resources in this way. We'll see if he can get away with it. We'll see what army composition he goes for. At the same time, he goes for a massive Ling run by. Ooh, he does catch a lot of drones, a lot of probes even.
Yeah, very nice run by there. Well timed while there's more going on at the front, but as you were saying, I'm not really sure what this is. I mean, a Hydra Den and a Spire going down at the same time. What do you think that signals for him? Is he just a little bit torn for what to go for, trying to cover all his bases?
Yeah, I think so. I think he may be even trying to get ready for potentially even Sky Toss as that comes out, especially because right now he throws down a Lurker Den, but we have Corruptors on the way. I mean, Corruptors are good against Colossi, don't get us wrong, but after that happens, if the Colossi will go down, they're not going to really be helping here against the ground toss that's in his face.
Yeah, he doesn't really look like he's gearing up to go into a Broodlord switch, so those Colossus, those Corruptors, they can look to start to do damage on new Nexuses and things like that, so there is a little bit of utility there, but at the same time we have a Lurker Den coming up behind this, and it kind of feels like those two things don't really work together that well.
Yeah, exactly. We can transition from one to the other, but not at the same time. Meanwhile, here we go. Silky's getting ready for a massive engage. It's coming in with his Ling Bane, but the force fields do slow him down. Up.
Yeah, actually, NightMare accidentally breaking his own force fields with the Morphing Archon there.
Despite that, some decent Novas do go off on Silky's army. He is forced back. The Colossi, only one survives that engagement. Two of them were taken down by those Corruptors, and there is that Greater Spire.
Yeah, there we go. The Greater Spire has been committed. We don't see any of the lurker upgrades yet, so yeah, it feels like Silky just a little bit indecisive where he wants to go with his tech, and I think in the end he's not really going to commit to these lurkers right now.
Yeah. He only has that just in case. It looks like he wants to go into the Broodlords instead. Can he survive that long though? Because NightMare is going for another warp in across the map. He wants to push in once again with his Mass Blink Stalker Disruptor army. Right now what's keeping him back is these Ling run-bys. Once again, we do see them coming in, hitting the third, hitting the fourth. This is going to buy Silky a little bit of time.
Yeah, pretty nice probe damage as well, forcing a pull over at that fourth base and then jumping on the transferring probes. So some nice moves coming out from Silky, but it looks like NightMare, he has decided the time is now. This Mass Stalker Disruptor Colossus Force just going to be breaking on down the door, and Silky was not ready for this.
Oh god, he was not. No, the Baileys are still morphing in. Where are the Novas? I can see them coming. There we go, and it looks like they do connect. Oh.
Yeah, good little last minute splits by Silky trying to get on out of there, but I just don't know if he can deal with this army of the Protoss. This army is huge.
Yeah, it's massive, mate. NightMare with 142 army supply compared to the 100 of Silky. A couple of biles are not going to be connecting, actually. Very last second splits, and Silky, oh god, he's trying to morph in more Bailings.
There we go. We have the first Broodlords. They are going to be able to keep themselves defended with this mass amount of Banelings from being blunk under, and the Banelings are committed to the Stalkers, but this is what happens with a mass Baneling armory against Stalkers. You see all the Banelings commit to the Stalkers, and all the Stalkers are still there, and the army's just gone.
GG gets called, and NightMare ties up the series 1-1, and yeah, Banelings do not trade well against Stalkers at all. It's not good.
Not anymore. They patched it.
Not anymore, puppy. It's been a long time. Yeah, GG, well played there to NightMare. It was one of those things where, again, kind of similar to some of the other games we've casted today where Silky had a bit of a rough start. We saw he cut drones at 35 to deal with the Glaive Adepts, and yeah, he kind of put himself behind a little bit there, where it felt like he was just kind of constantly playing catch up in a way, especially economically.
Yeah, that's not ideal. It kind of feels like he got a little bit bamboozled. Maybe thought that it was going to be 4-gate Glaives on the way and a full commitment, and just wanted to, cut nice and low and just crush that push and kill with a counterattack. And unfortunately, a little bit of a misread here, and now we have our final game between these two players on a nice small map.
Oh, let's go, Papi. Game number 3. We are coming to a close here on this series. It is going to be on Inside and Out.
Beautiful. What a glorious map. 6 bases on each side. Mwah! You'll have to see it.
Terran map.
Not even going to argue with that. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we have our Team GP at Protoss in the red. This is NightMare.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Inside Now, we have the American. Oh my god! Zerg player going for a 12 pool. It is
Let's go.
Silky. Oh. He's a man after your own. He's sending a drone across the map. Let's go.
Ooh, is this going to be a hatch block?
Yeah. Oh my god.
I do want to know how to deal with this, so I hope it is.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's just you throw down a forge, right? Like if you're able to respond in time, you send a probe down, you throw down a forge, you start getting some cannons up as well. You make sure you wall off as soon as possible. But we'll see what the response is going to be here for NightMare, as that drone is going to slip on in.
Yeah, there we go. It's just kind of being kept over to the side here until it has enough minerals to do what it's got to do. We see the first few lings being started up. The probe of NightMare going to slip on in there, catches eyes on that very early pull timing. We are going to see a quick response coming on down. 2 gateways being committed. The hatch block is here for Silky. How will NightMare respond?
There we go. NightMare, he has to cancel. He has to re-wall here and make sure the wall is nice and tight. There is that forge that we were talking about as well for cannons. And the boys are pulled to try and chip away at the hatchery.
Now, I think NightMare's a wonderful player, but considering what happened with the other hatch block and the eBay block, maybe I won't copy this.
Mate, there's like 10 holes in this wall. Like, am I crazy? Oh my god, as we do see the Adept coming out here, is able to get a little bit of hole position, but oh my god, has to be so careful.
Nice mineral wall coming out there, but the Lings are going to get on top of the probes. They are kind of surrounding themselves a little bit here, but they're going to trade out quite nicely. One of those probes already going down. Very nice micro coming out from Silky, and he is looking to find himself in a very nice position already.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But you know what? That one Zealot is having a hard time picking where he wants to fight right now. Another probe in the main base is going to be going down, but the cannon is almost done.
Yeah, a lot of the probes in the main base are going to be going down. Silky doing a fantastic job with his multitasking microing on both sides, and NightMare is just falling apart right now.
NightMare is knocked down to 10 probes right now. But the cannons are done, and this hatchery is not going to be able to produce a queen here, so we only have Lings to work with. Silky back at home is attempting to transition.
Yeah, Silky committing on the forge there, but these Lings in the main, they are going to be able to get on top of these probes once again. Another probe going down. We've seen 12 probes go down already. These broodlings are going to get us around on the Zealot, but the shield battery will come in clutch as these Lings try to sneak around into the main.
Yeah, the broodlings were trying to tank some of those hits for the Lings to slip in, but it looks like they don't get back into the main base, unfortunately. So NightMare has regained control of his main. He's down to 8 probes. Damage has been done. And it's not like we have too much tech. I also think, is that shield battery blocking the Nexus?
Yeah, it's blocking the Nexus. Yeah, he's going to have to kill it with the cannon. There we go.
There you go. He has to kill it. So Silky is not in a bad position. Not amazing, though, because we have 2 Adepts coming across the map, and with good enough micro, like, yo, NightMare, he can come back.
Yeah, so one of the important things about sending this Adept across the map is it does force extra Lings. We can see those coming out from Silky, so going up to 8 Lings should be able to deal with these Adepts, but it's still pretty annoying.
It really is, as it looks like 2 Lings are going to get shaved off here. The Adepts can shade into the main. The Queen, gets pulled down to the natural. Thankfully, we do have a Queen popping out in the main base, and how many drone kills are we going to get here, if any?
Oh, there we go. A bit of a misshade by NightMare. Maybe a little bit frazzled from how this early game has been going. Going to be picking out a lot of these Lings while losing one of those Adepts, almost losing the second as well.
Yeah, commits to the shade, but the Queen is here. 1 drone is going to go down, but I believe only a single drone. So not a bad defense here from Silky.
Oh my goodness, and the cannon stopped shooting the battery, so his Nexus was a little bit further delayed.
Oh, no.
I mean, he doesn't have a tech building yet. He's even throwing down a second gateway now.
That's what I mean. Like, there's no Stargate. Warp Gate just now starts. There's no Twilight Council either. Like, Silky has so much time to drone and so much time to, like, expand, take a 3rd base. He could... double expand is maybe too much, but, like, again, he has so much time to do what he wants back at home.
Yeah, there we go. We see that drone kind of thinks about taking a 3rd and decides... No, I think I want to end this here. The Roach Warren goes down. Looks like Silky going to be staying on that 2-base economy. We see those extra injects going down as well, and I think he's done droning for now.
Yeah, so Silky is going for a 2-base all-in as a follow-up, which makes sense because NightMare is crippled. Don't get us wrong, you know, like this, there is logic behind this. There's 2 avenues, you know, there's two paths, okay? There's 2 players. One of them gets further ahead by expanding and taking a 3rd. The other throws down a Roach Warren and just goes YOLO. It looks like Silky wants to do both.
I know what happened. He was going to take the 3rd. This is such a light brain thing to do. He was going to take a 3rd, and then he saw that NightMare killed his own shield battery, and then he doesn't have a shield battery anymore, so that's why he's going for the all-in now.
It makes sense.
He's not looking.
He's not looking, puppy. He's not looking.
The shield battery. Go.
Hey, I don't throw down early Roach Warrens, okay? I stop trying to paint me in this light that doesn't exist. All right, but also true. As the Roaches are coming across the map, 3rd base is on the way for Silky. He doesn't have too much gas to work with, so unfortunately, Silky isn't going to be able to make too many Ravagers here. So he's going to have a hard time breaking on through, but there's no shield battery, there is no overcharge.
Yeah, no shield battery whatsoever. Looks like NightMare's going to have to immediately pull these probes to start re-walling. How many minerals does he have to work with? Actually, a shield battery being thrown down straight away, but this gateway is going to be focused on down.
Oh, exactly. The gateway is being focused on. No, actually, Silky wants to break on through instead, but there is that force field quickly cutting off those lings, but the gateway does fall.
Yeah, we're going to be going down. Starting to get some damage on the cannons here. It's really important that the Roaches try to break this cannon as fast as they can. This cannon represents a lot of DPS, and it is starting to work through the lings here. This is a bit of a wasteful attack by Silky.
It really is. A lot of lings just get completely ground up there. Ay, ay, ay. And all those lings, they literally all could have been drones. Yeah. Silky was not going to be.
You know that?
He wasn't going to be aggressive anytime soon, Papi. Ay.
You know that lings could be drones?
They could. Oh my god, it's crazy.
Why don't you bring that knowledge to your games live?
Because I'm an animal, Papi. Do as I say, don't do as I
Zerg
do.
brain.
You can be better. But yeah, like I do think that this could have been. I do think that this could have worked if just a second gas geyser was taken earlier. If we had a second gas geyser, we would have had at least 4 Ravagers. We would have been able to bile through and just had an easier time breaking this defense. Now suddenly, Silky, his lead isn't as large as it once was.
Yeah, I feel like having the Ravagers to bile the cannons would have gone a really long way here.
Yeah, the cannons, the pylons, you know, the force fields, pick your poison, right? There would have been plenty of options. Unfortunately, Silky just wanted to pull the trigger sooner instead, and he did, but we saw how good the defense was for NightMare. He's trying to expand and take a third base, and I do think he has enough to defend it. Like, we have force field potential. We have Immortals.
There we go. Taking that third base kind of paints a target on his back, and these units are going to get surrounded by the lings. That's some good damage going down for Silky, and denying this third once again puts NightMare even further behind in this game.
Yeah, I do really like this from Silky. Like, I was skeptical. I thought maybe NightMare would be able to defend it, but no, I was wrong. Instead, Silky is going to be able to contain him for two bases. Yeah,
NightMare with a little bit of a supply block there as well. It's going to be hard to get this Immortal out. We do see that Robo Bay is going to be finishing on up now, so he cancels that Immortal, instead goes for a Disruptor, instead goes for a Colossus.
Oh my god. Russian roulette with what Robo unit's going to be coming out next. It is going to be the Colossus. I do love it, especially because of how Ling heavy this composition is from Silky. As he does back off, NightMare going to be looking to retake this third base.
I understand NightMare coming out here to take this third base, but I don't know if he has a recall right now, and that Colossus is still a little ways off. This is very risky.
Yeah, there's a world where Silky comes in, gets a full surround, and then biles the juicy center of the Protoss army. There is a way for him to take this fight, but Silky actually backs off, and NightMare will be able to get away with this third.
Yeah, but there we go. Silky going to be getting that Baneley Nest, has his 4th on the way, starting to break down these rocks as he gets his +1 melee, his roach speed on the way. He's just getting further and further ahead. NightMare still so far away from this third, and it kind of looks like Silky just took stock of things, reconsidered, and said, man, I think the only way I lose this game is if I throw this army away right now.
Yeah, so he's not wasteful with his units, which you love to see. I'm also a little bit torn because Silky, he himself is like stuck between, do I want a drone or do I want to make army? Like, he's kind of trickling in a couple of workers here and there, but he's also making more roaches, he's making more lings. Like, he wants to be aggressive. You can see that he wants to press his advantage, he wants to deny the third, but he also wants the drone as well, and he's doing a little bit of both, which means he's not doing amazing at either.
Yeah, for sure, but the supply does not lie. We see here for NightMare, he's warping in so many sentries here. He is just going all in on the defense, and here we go. Silky is looking to attack with this Lingbane Ravager force.
Oh my god, let's go, Bobby, let's go. Baneling speed is still a bit of a ways off, but Silky's getting ready for a mass round. We have some shield batteries. We do not have enough energy for overcharge.
No energy for overcharge. One of these Colossus almost getting caught out a little bit here. We do have a Disruptor coming out for NightMare here. The overcharge has been committed here at the third. The cannon's putting in a lot of work. The first Colossus almost going down, but the Banelings, can they get on top of the sentries?
Oh, they cannot. The force fields go down once again, but the Banelings roll on forward. The Colossi barely surviving. The Roach Ravager trying to get on top of them. They do focus on one Colossus. Can they get the second?
Massive biles going down on all the Stalkers and the Immortals. That Colossus being microed as best as it can there. NightMare is going to lose that Colossus. The Immortal still doing work here. Sentry. Ooh, those last few Ravages just explode in a fountain of blood all over that third, but I think the damage has just about been done. The tech units are taken out, the static defense is being taken out, and this base is looking so much softer for the second wave.
Yeah, I mean, NightMare had a pretty close defense there. I think maybe a lesser player would have straight up died. Unfortunately, he came so close to saving some of those Colossi, but he didn't in the end. He wasn't able to keep them alive for the second wave. He's down to one single disruptor. He's going into DTs. A Dark Shrine is on the horizon, but it's not going to be ready in time for that second wave.
Yeah, it feels like absolute desperation. This observer here for NightMare sees everything that's coming his way. He knows that he is about to have his door battered on down. What can he do about it? The first few disruptors come out. Fantastic splits from Silky and a huge surround and concave coming on in.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. The shield battery goes down as well. The back has been broken at the third base, and it looks like NightMare just doesn't have enough.
Every single probe is going to be going down. This Nexus is going to be going down. NightMare calls GG, and Silky, little bit of a surprise winner here, going through second in the group.
Oh my god. Do I have the right one? No. Hold on. I pressed the wrong button. Up. Hey. GG. Well played. Silky does take down NightMare 2-1 off of a 12 pool with a hatch block as well. Oh my god, we saw NightMare did end up holding against that, but man, he lost so many probes, especially in the main base. Like, he was having a hard time responding to that early game aggression. Silky almost threw it back to him. He almost threw it back by over committing to trying to break the natural. I was really worried at that moment, but it's okay. Silky, he still had enough of a lead to maintain and overcome that.
Yeah, that was a messy, wild game. Feels like both players a bit flustered, a little bit nervous trying to get into that group stage too, not wanting to be dropped into the knockout bracket, and everything going everywhere. Obviously, the start of that 12 pool defense was pretty rough for NightMare. The wall didn't really wall out the way that he wanted it to, and Silky did such a good job controlling both his armies of Lings at the same time to get damage in the man.
Yeah, exactly. Great multitasking there from Silky. An attempted wall was made from NightMare. There was an attempt. I think we can both say that. But the wall was never a wall. And yeah, congratulations to Silky. He'll be coming out second in his group alongside Kelazor. So yeah, even though Silky did take a very long hiatus from the game, even though he hasn't been very active, it's cool to see him finding some success in at least the group stage 1.
Yeah, 100%. So very nicely done by Silky, and some great games, if a little bit long.
Only one of them.
Crazy first game.
To be fair, only the first one was long. Okay, like the others were fine. You know, we saw some hyper aggression. You know, they went up to the 15-minute mark. It was just the first one that Silky had a big lead and took him a while to close it out. Really, it was rough. It's rough. Yeah.
But there we go. So that wraps things on up for Group P.
Oh, yeah, exactly. In the end, both Kelazor and Silky end up pushing that P. They come out on top, and yeah, that ends our coverage for that. And Asher, we've reached the midnight. The hour has arrived. Mm-hmm. Are you up for one more best of 3?
I want to cry beyond streaming. Bjorn hasn't streamed for years.
For years, Poppy, for years.
I'm not even joking. Like,
oh my god.
He hasn't streamed probably since I started playing StarCraft. It's so sad.
He heard, yo, Asher's streaming? Let's go, Poppy, let's go. Oh my god.
It's alright, we can
You did not answer my question. You didn't answer my question.
Cast one more.
You can. Oh my god, mate. We have one final series before us, and they're totally not going to be 30-minute games, right? We have one series remaining here tonight, and it is going to be, we're going to be hopping over into Group N. It's going to be Trigger versus Sue.